Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another classic horror movie review for Halloween month. Today we're plunging into the twisted world of Clive Barker's vision, Hellraiser 2 Hellbound. Released in 1988, this sequel not only expands on the mythos established in the original, but also dives deeper into the horrors and the philosophical themes that have made the Hellraiser franchise a cult classic. Now, I watched this sequel for the very first time only recently to do this review, and I was very impressed. This movie was released just a year after the original. Now, Hellraiser 2 picks up right where the first one left off. We follow Kirsty Cotton, portrayed by Ashley Lawrence, and she finds herself in a mental institution. Basically, she's haunted by the horrors that she witnessed in the last movie, and in this movie, she must now confront the Cenobites once again in order to stop Julia, who was resurrected in one hell of a messed up scene. The film introduces Dr. Philip Channard, played by Kenneth Cranham, a creepy psychiatrist with a very dark obsession for the otherworldly, and he also has like this huge collection of these creepy puzzle boxes. The narrative deepens as we literally dive into hell itself, which is depicted as this maze of horror and torment and twisted desires, the very essence of Barker's unsettling creativity. So, Kirsty, she is back, and her character arc evolves significantly from victim to survivor, because in the first movie, I did like her as a final girl. I thought she did a really good job, but I did say that I wouldn't put her in my top 3 when it comes to final girls in horror movies. However, in this movie, her resilience against the Cenobites grows so much stronger. I mean, you can't help but root for her, and you know, she's battling both internal and external demons. She did a good job in the last movie, and she really excels herself in this movie. I mean, Kirsty definitely goes up in my estimations of my favorite final girls after watching this sequel. Then we have Dr. Channard, and he is truly one of the most memorable villains in the movie. His transformation throughout the film is quite chilling. You watch him go through a seemingly respectable doctor to a savage figure lost in his own twisted desires. It is a remarkable achievement in the storytelling. And of course, we cannot ignore Pinhead, because Doug Bradley's iconic portrayal of this character really does cement him as a horror legend. And you know, in this sequel, we see more of his philosophical musings of pain and pleasure. It adds depth to his character. We get a tiny little flashback of a little backstory, and it just makes him more than just this slasher figure, in my opinion. We do get to see a lot more of Pinhead and the other Cenobites in this movie. We meet a lot of the original characters from the first film and some minor ones, you know, minor new ones that adds to the chilling atmosphere. Each and every character in this film plays an essential role in building the dread as they navigate the horrors of the labyrinth hell. Hellraiser 2 delves into the complexities of desire and the human psyche. The Cenobites are not just monsters, they represent a distinctive perspective on pleasure and pain. Now, with Pinhead stating "we have such sights to show you" from the first movie, resonates with the idea of expanding limits through torture, both physically and psychologically. And I've just got to say, there is actually one hell of a quote that Pinhead says in this movie. He says it to Kirsty, and he says, "Your suffering will be legendary, even in hell." I was like, what? That is one of the best quotes I've heard in a horror film in a very long time, and it really does make me wonder why I never went and watched this sequel a lot sooner. It was flipping brilliant. The film also explores mental health, because Kirsty, she finds herself in the institution, and also the interplay between sanity and insanity acts as a parallel to the seemingly rational actions of the characters, reflecting how trauma can manifest in various forms and lead to madness. Now, this movie features impressive makeup and special effects for its time. The practical effects done by the talented team at Image Animation, they bring the grotesque and the surreal visions of hell to life in ways that CGI often fails to replicate, creating authentic images and terror. The film's use of lighting and cinematography amplifies its eerie aesthetic, shadows playing a significant role in building tension and maintaining the suspense in the movie. Now, the unsettling score by Christopher Young, oh my word, it really complements the visuals perfectly, drawing the viewer deeper into the film's emotional and psychological undertones. Like, honestly, the soundtrack for this movie and the previous movie is just wow. And I think that is the best word for it. When comparing Hellraiser 2 to its predecessor, it's important to acknowledge how it builds on the foundation laid by the original. Now, while the first film establishes a gritty, claustrophobic kind of horror, this sequel allows for more expansive world building, taking us into the very depths of hell. Both of the movies revolve around the same themes of desire and the pain, but Hellbound broadens the scope, introducing, more characters, exploring their previous backstories of the original characters, and delving further into the motivations of the Cenobites. This sequel has its own distinct vibe that some viewers might appreciate more for its ambition and the horror elements. When I was doing some research for this movie, I was very, very surprised to read that a lot of people prefer this movie to the original, which once again makes me wonder why I have not seen this movie a lot sooner. The standout moment for me is definitely Julia's resurrection when she comes out of that disgusting looking mattress that she died on in the last movie, and then she just sort of like annihilates this mental health patient in an extremely brutal and a very disturbing scene. Even by today's standards, I was shocked at what was unfolding in front of me on the screen. They use a lot of blood for that scene. And on the subject of Julia, this is definitely her best performance that I've seen in the Hellraiser world. In the first movie, it was all about bringing Frank back to life, but in this one, Julia, she has a more full-time villainous role, and she plays it really, really well. So, is Hellraiser 2 Hellbound deserving of its place in horror history? Absolutely. It not only serves as an effective sequel, but as a deep exploration of human desires, nightmares, and the complexities of the psyche. It challenges viewers to confront their fears and explore the thin veil between pleasure and pain. I feel like I've said pleasure and pain a lot in this video, but this is what the film is all about, guys. Whether you're a long-time fan of the franchise or new to the world of the Cenobites, this film offers something for absolutely everyone. A blend of gore, philosophical depth, and relentless horror that lingers long after the credits roll. Honestly, I couldn't get this film out of my head for a little bit after watching it for the first time the other day. I was just like, wow, this was an 80s film as well. I am going to give Hellraiser 2 the same rating that I gave the first Hellraiser, and that is an 8.5 out of 10. I don't necessarily think that this sequel is better than the original, but I do think it is literally on the same level neck and neck, and it is rare for a sequel to keep up with their original predecessors, so I am very impressed by this movie. So guys, if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into your favourite horror films. But before we go, what are your thoughts on Hellraiser 2? Let's discuss in the comments box below. And on that note, it is time to wrap this up. Until next time, guys, keep your nightmares at bay.